Hello everybody, today is Friday, actually Thursday for me, and I have a Theo running around with a scooter. But I am meal prepping today because I'm trying to just keep my week as simple as possible so I can focus on school with the kids, doing stuff here at the homestead, and just, you know, loving it, enjoying it, and getting out of the kitchen some. So this will just make the week go so much smoother. I'm gonna go in the other room so maybe we won't hear so much of Theo running that scooter. So I'm gonna go on and jump into the meal prep. Sorry, it got dark there for a minute. So here are some of the things that we're gonna make today. As always, I have big hopes and dreams, and it doesn't always happen, but I'm gonna try and get it all done. And make some baked chicken, so that way I've got just cooked chicken prepared and ready, and that's what we'll actually start with. I'm gonna make the hummus, the date caramel sauce, a whole food plant-based cheese sauce, some peanut butter balls, some healthy cookies, some bread for sandwiches, some potatoes just steamed and ready to go in the fridge. I love to have those ready all the time. If you've been with me, you know that. Some bean burgers that we'll have ready to go in the freezer for the night that we're doing bean burgers, a big pot of refried beans, and some baked sweet potatoes. So let's just go on and jump into it. Here's what we're gonna start with. The first thing that I'm gonna do is just go on and start up some chicken and just have some cooked chicken ready to go. I'm just gonna season this with a little bit of poultry seasoning and garlic and onion powder. Next I put some beans on soak, just some pinto beans to make some refried beans for the burrito bowls later this week.
Hold on to the hopes and dreams we shared along the way, and promise you won't let them fade away. Though I have tried, I cannot forget. Can't seem to get it out of my head. The way that I felt that night we met. You stole my heart at first attempt. You made me believe in love again. Open my eyes with the things you said.
Okay, so if you've been following me for a while, you know I love to keep some good potatoes in my fridge. So I just have this steamer basket, and I'm gonna put that in my Instapot. Then I'm just gonna add a little bit of water to the bottom of the pot. And then I'm gonna add my potatoes. And I'm just gonna cook that for 15 minutes. Okay, so these potatoes, you guys, you can turn that into so many things. You can shred it and make hash browns. You can dice them, slice them, make home fries, make so many things and just have them ready to go. Throw them into soups and stews. But one of the things is, one of our options is potatoes and eggs for breakfast this week. So I just chop that up, throw it in the air fryer, get them crunchy, and then toss them with some eggs. And for those not following the whole food plant-based, they love that, and I can never make enough. And then for myself, And those of us that are not doing eggs, we will have it with a side of some good steamed vegetables. Next, I'm gonna go on and make some bread. So we got some sandwich bread going. I'm gonna start with 3 cups warm water. 3 teaspoons of salt. 3 tablespoons of yeast. Then we're gonna do 2 tablespoons of honey. We're gonna just stir that. And then we're gonna let this sit for 5 to 10 minutes until it gets nice and foamy. And now the potatoes are done. I'm just gonna take these out. The number one thing to potatoes is when you're storing them in the fridge, just store them in a big bowl. Do not cover them or they get slimy and just turn bad. Let them cool, put them in a bowl, and you just leave them just open in the fridge. And they will last, I'd say a week. I never get that far. We usually use them within like 3 days, but they will be ready to go whenever you're ready, and it just makes them so much easier. Everything's so much easier. Highly, highly, highly recommend, and always do, having steamed potatoes in your fridge. Okay, so I just got the chicken out of the oven. Smells so good. So I'm just gonna let that cool, and then I'm gonna just shred it and put it in Ziploc baggies and pop it into the freezer. So that way it's just ready to go for whatever it is that we need. And now the sweet potatoes are done. So with the sweet potatoes, one of the things is, it definitely, if you're wanting something sweet, a sweet potato with a drizzle of maple syrup is just so good. So I love to have those on hand. Not only that, but then they can be added. Smash up some sweet potatoes, add it to oatmeal, mash up sweet potatoes and add it to like a breakfast hash. Or I'm gonna add it to like our burrito bowls, and just, we might do just mashed sweet potatoes as part of our side dish one night. So if I just have some of that made, then it's just, again, an easy thing to grab and just throw into the meal, where they take, you know, it baked in the oven about an hour to bake. That just, they're ready to go. So now let's finish up this bread. Okay, so now it's nice and foamy. I'm gonna add 8 cups of flour. If you find that your dough is a little bit sticky, you just add a little bit more flour.
Can you do anything?
Well, and he just had some smoothie and a little bit of Coke. And I think part of a cucumber. You're welcome. Then I'm just gonna spray it with a little bit of olive oil to coat it. And just keep it from sticking as it rises to the bowl. It is a sticky dough. It's not a super stiff dough. And I'm just gonna cover this and let it rise. And that's it. Okay, so this bread only takes 30 to 45 minutes to rise. That's it. It really is a super simple bread to make. Everybody says I make it look so easy, but this bread really is, I find, to be very fail-proof, very, very easy. Maybe it's because of the large amount of yeast that's in it. Others have asked, how do I put salt in and it not work? Or it come out good because they do it and it doesn't work. I don't know. I don't do anything magical, anything. I just, it just works. I really just have no issue with it at all. It comes out perfect every time. So while that's rising for about 30 to 45 minutes, I'm gonna go on and make some peanut butter balls so that I got those in the fridge ready for the kids. The first thing I want to do is make some oat flour. So I'm just pouring some old-fashioned oats into my high-speed blender. I use a Vitamix, but I'm sure another high-speed blender would work, or a food processor. And I'm just gonna blend that up. And now that is oat flour. I am gonna add peanut butter, just a good big scoop of it. I don't have any measurements for this. Sprinkle in some cinnamon, a dash of vanilla, some honey, and then I'm gonna mix this up. Then I'm going to add some of the oat flour. Then I'm just going to pinch some off, roll it into a ball, and put it right back into that bowl. And I'll put these in the fridge to just kind of harden up a little bit. You could also roll these in coconut sugar, or some coconut, or crushed nuts, or chocolate chips, cocoa powder. Sprinkles. There's lots of ways you can make this into a little fancier, I guess. I think I am going to go on and just toss this with a little bit of coconut sugar. And then I'm going to put these in the fridge. Okay, now it's time for the bread. I can only find one of my loaf pans right now, so I'm going to spray that down. And then here's the bread. I'm just going to punch it down and divide it into two. I'm going to put one in the loaf pan. And the other one's just going to be more of a flat loaf on my baking stone. And then just pop these into the oven. I'm baking those at 350 degrees, and they will bake for about 30 minutes, 35 minutes, and then they'll be done. Okay, while the bread is baking, we're gonna go on and make these healthy chocolate chip cookies. My family absolutely loves these. I can never make enough, so I'm gonna make a double batch, and they'll still probably be gone in a day. That's how much they like them. So I'm gonna show you how to make this, and like I said, this is a double batch. I'm gonna start with 2/3 cup of unsweetened applesauce. Then we're gonna add 2/3 cup of peanut butter or almond butter. Now this is just nothing but peanuts and salt. A cup of coconut sugar, some vanilla, a teaspoon of salt. I'm going to add 2 2/3 2 2/3 cup oat flour, a 1/2 cup flour, and 1 teaspoon baking soda. I'm going to mix this up. Okay, and then with these cookies you could add chocolate chips now, but what I like to do is take them and just put some on the top. You're using less chocolate chips that way, but you also then get chocolate chips even in all the cookies and every bite. I just think it's so much better. So let's just put these in the oven at 350 for about 10 minutes or so. You'll know when they're done. I just pulled the bread out of the oven. It smells so good. So all I'm going to do here is just take a little spoon of it, just kind of roll it and push it down just a little. Shape it into these sweet cookies. And then I'm going to take the chocolate chips and just put a few in each cookie.
Set myself aside, lead the way on this trial. If you don't know the way, we can stop and make a change. I know we walk for days, losing hope, fading love. This night will be okay.
Okay, here they are out of the oven. You can see they've got little cracks in it, so you can tell that they are ready. Okay, so this is the chicken. I'm just got it wrapped up. I'm gonna put this in the freezer. And now I've got this later this week when I'm going to make some firecracker chicken. I just pop this out and I'm gonna toss it with the sauce that I have to make that night, and then just put some rice in the rice cooker and some veggies, and this dinner is done. So that makes it so much easier, since the chicken's already ready to go. So I'm gonna put this in the freezer, and then we're gonna go out and make the beans, the refried beans. Okay, so for the beans, I'm gonna keep them super simple. A lot of times I add all kind of spices and stuff to my beans, but today I'm just keeping it super simple. I'm gonna use it in my Instapot, and I'm gonna do them on high for an hour, or on pressure cook for an hour, sorry. Now you can do these on the stove top if you want. You could do these in a slow cooker, and you can add whatever spices you want. I feel like beans, you really can't go wrong. I like to keep mine on the low fat, so I'm just gonna add some better than bouillon, a little onion and a little garlic, and a can of green chilies, and that's it. I'm just gonna let it cook. So easy. while that's cooking, I'm actually gonna take a little break out of the kitchen because I need to put together the shopping haul and get it up for you guys today. I filmed it this morning, now I gotta get it up for you. So while that's going, like I said, I'm just gonna take a little break and then we will be back in the kitchen. And I still have all the sauces to make and something else I forget. I need to look at my list. I'll see you in a minute. Okay, the beans are done and they smell amazing. I'm just gonna do an immersion blender and just kind of mix those up. That is it, the beans are done, so easy. Next, we just have 3 sauces to make and some prepping of the black bean burgers. Now I've made those many times on here, but there's a reason I never change it because some of you have made them and you agree. They are very, very, very delicious. So I'm gonna go on and start though this cheese sauce that happens to be whole food plant-based. Here's what you need. We're gonna start by adding 2.5 cups of peeled chopped potatoes and about 1/2 of a chopped carrot or about 1/3 to 1/2 cup carrot. We're gonna let that boil and cook until it's nice and tender. Okay, now what we're gonna do is we're gonna add the potatoes and carrots to our blender. We want to just keep the potato water, the starchy water, so we just want to scoop it out. And then I'm gonna add a teaspoon of salt, a 1/2 cup of raw unsalted cashews, a couple tablespoons of nutritional yeast. That's what's gonna give it kind of a cheesy flavor. More, less, whatever it is you like. Then just some garlic powder, some onion powder, the juice of 1/2 of a lemon. Then we're gonna add in about 2 cups of the potato water. I didn't even have 2 cups. So if I need to add some more water, then I'll just add a little bit more water. Now we're gonna just blend this up really good. All right, then I'm gonna add the little bit of green chilies that we saved from earlier. I'm just gonna pop those in there. And just give it a really quick spin on it. It smells so good, and that's it. This is your cheese sauce. It should still have some little chunks of green chilies. See, I still see some in there. And you can taste it, and if you need to add more salt or anything like that, then you just add more. Sorry guys, I almost forgot a little bit of chili powder. Just sprinkle that in there. That makes it more of a nacho kind of cheese sauce. And just stir that in there. And then I'm just gonna store that in a big mason jar. So I am actually hungry right now. So with this cheese sauce and these beans, I've got some tortilla chips cooking in the oven that I just cut up some corn tortillas, drizzled a little bit of, or squeezed a little bit of lime juice and salt on them, and I pop them into bake. get golden brown, or you can do that also in the air fryer. But I'm gonna make a little plate of bean and cheese nachos. That's completely healthy. And on my personal health journey, what is allowed? My brain is starting to not work as good because I'm getting tired and it's later in the day and I'm also hungry. So let me show you how I'm gonna make these real quick. And they're so good. Okay, so I'm gonna start with these chips. Top it with some of the beans. And then the cheese sauce. And a few jalapenos. That is some yummy treat. Alright, those nachos, seriously, so good. Definitely hit the spot. Now I'm gonna make the caramel and date sauce. And that we're gonna eat with some apples, or you can stuff a date with it, just whatever you want. Whatever you would put caramel on. You could put it on banana ice cream or ice cream. It's just like a caramel dipping sauce. So let's make that up real quick. Okay, this is super easy. I'm just using dates. Now these aren't dried dates, they're fresh dates. And I'm just gonna put a bunch into my blender. Just wanna make sure that you get this pit out of the inside. And they have a little like cap on top too. You just wanna get those off. And then to that, I'm gonna add some water. You just add more as you need to. Some vanilla. Some cinnamon. And a pinch of salt. And then we're just gonna okay, and then if you can see this, that is like just this caramel sauce. Very good. I'm gonna get this out and put it in the fridge. Then I'm just gonna pour it in here, and this is better after it cools in the fridge. But if you can see that, it really does taste just like caramel. And it's just fruit. All right, and I'm just gonna store this in the fridge. Okay, for hummus, I'm gonna just drain the garbanzo beans, but I wanna save some of this liquid. So pour those in here. And I'm gonna squeeze in half of a lemon, the juice of half of a lemon. I'm gonna add some cumin. I'm gonna add some salt. And I like to add a little bit of the pickling juice from jalapenos. Okay, a little tahini. And a clove of garlic. Then I'm gonna add just a little bit of this water. And blend this up. And then here is a delicious hummus. You can just taste it, make sure you don't need to add anything else. And there is my jar of hummus ready to go. Okay guys, it is 5 o'clock and I still got to do dinner. So I am actually going to stop with the meal prepping now. So I did not get done everything I wanted to. There were some like brownie bites that I wanted to make that were just dates and walnuts and cacao powder or cocoa powder. I didn't make those, and I didn't make the bean burgers. So when I make the bean burgers for dinner, what I'll do is I'll just make a double or triple batch so I have them in the freezer for another time. That's it. That's all I'm gonna do for tonight for meal prep because I've done it all day. I'm ready to go and do dinner real quick with my family and then just go cuddle up with Charles. And it is a rainy, cold day here. So I hope all of you are staying warm if it's chilly where you are. And I will see all of you guys tomorrow for a full day of meals and spend the day with us. Bye everybody. Have a wonderful night.